transportation. I will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated with you right now. Pretrial services is recommending release, and the state is in agreement about that release to pretrial services. And do you have a patient hold on Mr. Yanis? Thank you. All right. So Mr. Yanis, released due to the third-party custody of pretrial services. So you need to check in with them when you released. You're going to get permission. I would that you possess or consume no illegal drugs, that you possess no arms or weapons, and I'm in order that you have no contact of any kind with any co-defendants in this case. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll set a preliminary hearing for July 29th at 1:30, but hearing you will get, so it's very that you know when to go to. So,
Okay.
sir, you're excused. I started handing these over to last night. They wanted me to hand them, like, should I just give them to you? I have no problems. Okay. I need you to tell them. Can I get your phone number, please? You are being seen this morning on a few different matters. The first is a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for shoplifting from May 20th of 2023. And then you've got some city court cases as well. It looks like they are all warrants as well. So you've got a drug paraphernalia charge from January 15th of this year, a DUI from January 8th of this year, and a drug paraphernalia from December 14th of last year. And because you failed to appear at all of those various hearings, warrants issued for your arrest. Is there any reason why you haven't been getting to court?
Well, I was in the arc. I was in rehab for 2 months. And I was handling everything I could there, but it was a different case I was handling. I thought at the time, and just something that I was told by a lawyer at the time is that all those were going to be combined together. And the lawyer I had for the case that I was working when I was in rehab, I thought she was working on that one there. So I guess it was miscommunication. But for 2 months, that's where I was. A little bit over 2 months I was in rehab. So.
When did you get out of rehab?
About 5 days ago.
And where are you living now?
The Connie Hillman house.
All right, so if I release you, you're going to have two different court dates that you're going to need to get to, one in justice court and one in city court. You're going to make both of those court dates?
Yes, I can. Just as long as I have it written down. Yes.
Okay.
I will.
All right, so on the justice court matter, I'll order that you be released on your promise to appear. You need to be in justice court on August 16th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Did you have Douglas Taylor as your attorney before?
It's familiar.
Okay,
That sounds serious.
all right. So I think he'll still be representing you on that.
Because I think he was mine originally. Then he actually gave my case to somebody else.
Oh,
I must admit, I didn't know, but yeah.
all right. So just go to court on that date, and then your city court matters. I will order that you be released. And you need to be in Tucson City Court on August 16th at 2:30 in the afternoon. All right.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can you get paperwork with that?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Can I get your full name, please?
Stephen George.
Oh, Mr. George, you're being seen this morning on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and unlawful imprisonment. You will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Give me just one moment to review your paperwork here. So Criminal Services is recommending against release. They did speak with your wife, who's the alleged victim here. She said that she did not object to your release, but that she does not have contact with you at this time, and that you cannot return to the residence. Do you have somewhere else to stay?
Someplace I can stay.
Where the
I'll stay with a friend. I got friends I can stay with. It's not a problem. The only thing is with the house is that that's where my tools and stuff are for work. I have a broken car down there
Okay.
that I was repairing, but I can work around all that. I just need to be able to get some tools so I can work and have some place to. I got some other places I can stay. And
I to be released, I promise to appear. I'm going to that you have no contact of any kind with Miss George, and I'm ordering that you not go to the residence or her workplace, and that you not contact her in any other way by phone or text or anything. I'm going to put in my order that you may return one time with a police escort to pick up your personal belongings. So you take my order to the police station and ask me to go with you to get your belongings. Okay.
not a problem.
That you possess no weapons and that you commit no acts of domestic violence. You need to be in justice court on August 10:30 in the morning. We'll issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. 10:30 in the morning on August 10th.
You should get paperwork with that information on it. Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're excused. Get your phone in, please.
Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobs, you are being seen this morning on a couple of different matters. They're both warrants. One is out of Pima County Justice Court for driving with a suspended license from March 5th of this year. And then you have a city court case involving shoplifting and health or morals of a child from back in 2022. Is there any reason why you haven't been getting to court to take care of these matters?
So, did have a call at that time, but then it breaks down, and I have family members who, are willing to help me and all that. And it's also just me working at the time, working 2 jobs with a family of four. So, I mean, honestly, it's mostly just car trouble, money trouble, time, stuff like that.
Sir, I'm looking at your file and it looks like you were arrested in March of this year. You were told about that city court case from 2022 and given court dates, and you did not appear in court. So I am going to order that you be held on $250 bonds in each case. So it'll be $500 total in bonds. And on the justice court matter, I will appoint Sal Huerta to represent you. And you will be seen on Tuesday by video if you're still in custody. And if you were to bond out, you need to be in Pima County Justice Court on Tuesday. That's July 9th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or another warrant will issue for your arrest, and then that bond would be in jeopardy. And then on your city court case, again, a $250 cash bond. And I'll appoint the city public defender to represent you. You will be seen, if you're still in custody, by video on July 15th at 1:45 in the afternoon. But on that, we're going to be in Tucson City Court August 9th at 9:30 in the morning. All right, you're excused. Hi, can I please get your full name?
Destiny Lopez.
Ms. Lopez, you are being seen this morning on a few different matters. I see that there's a new charge of failure to comply with a court order, domestic violence, but I do not see any probable cause statement for that one. There's also a drug paraphernalia violation that is new. Also no probable cause statement. But then you have warrants as well out of city court. The most recent from April 29th of this year for criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and theft by control. One from, actually, there's a more recent one from May 16th of this year for obstruction for refusing to give your true name. And then May 22nd of this year, 2 counts of shoplifting. And when you did not appear in court, warrants issued for your arrest. All right, so on the city court matters, the new charges, I'm going to dismiss those without prejudice because there's no probable cause. And then on the warrant cases, I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash bond. Appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. And then you will be seen by Judge Cranshaw. If you're
I
still,
didn't know about.
if you're still in custody on July 15th at 1:45. If you were to bond out, you would need to be in Tucson City Court on August 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then you've got some warrants out of Green Valley as well that we're going to talk about. You need me to write anything on here about those dismissals, or you're going to do it on there? Awesome, thank you. It's just the news. Just, there's two here. I'll hand you those files separately.
Ma'am, I didn't know about those warrants. I recently found out about this. I was on the streets. I was trying to get into treatment. I recently found out about those.
Did I? I didn't hand you the Green Valley warrants, did I? Oh, maybe they were in that file. No. What I did with them. Maybe put them in one of my other folders. Oh, they're there. So Green Valley warrants are for disorderly conduct. It's like there's 4 counts from March 17th of last year. On those charges, I'm also going to order that you be held on a $250 cash bond. You'll be seen in Green Valley Justice Court on July 18th at 8:30 in the morning, and I will appoint an attorney for those. We'll make that attorney will be Janet Schuler. All right, ma'am. So you're going to be seen, if you don't bond, you're going to be seen on those 2 different court dates by video. If you do bond, you need to make sure that you get to court so that warrants don't.
What are the dates again? If I don't mind now, what are the dates?
It's July 18th.
But
City court is. You'll be seen by video 15th. You need to be in court on August 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You'll get paperwork with all of that information, okay?
So if I bond down on either of those, I'm stuck in jail till those dates?
Yeah.
The 15th?
15th and then the 18th.
Okay.
Excused. So can I get your full name, please?
Adán Misael Morales.
Mr. Morales, you're being seen this morning on charges of domestic violence assault, disorderly conduct, preventing use of a telephone, and criminal damage. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Give me just one moment to look over your paperwork here. All right, sir. Pretrial services recommends release in your case. I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. Pretrial services was not able to get in contact with the alleged victim, your girlfriend Ruth, and so I don't know what her position is. So what I'm going to order, sir, is that you have no unconsented contact with Ruth. That means that if you're living together, if you were to go home and she doesn't want you to be there, you need to leave. Do you understand that?
Yes.
That you commit no further acts of domestic violence, and you need to be in Pima County Justice Court on August 6th at 10:30 in the morning, or we'll issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, so you're excused. Hey, ma'am, can I get your full name, please?
Yes, it's Tanya Stevens.
Okay, Ms. Stevens, you're being seen this morning on a charge of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. I will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Pretrial services recommends release, and they did speak with your boyfriend, who is the alleged victim, Donnie. And he said he does not object to your release. And he does want to have further contact with you. So I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence, and you need to be in Pima County Justice Court on August 6th at 10:30 in the morning, or a warrant can issue for you. Do you understand?
Yes. Your Honor, I wanted to ask for a restraining order. I don't want him around me no more.
Help you with that, but you can talk to counsel if she's got any information on where to go to get that done, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
And I'll get paperwork in the mail.
No, when you get checked out at the jail, they'll hand you paperwork.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Okay. Lisa?
Hi, ma'am, can I get your full name, please?
Jolisa Daniel Carreras.
You are being seen this morning on charges of criminal damage, disorderly conduct, and theft by control, all domestic violence offenses. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Pretrial services is recommending release. They were not able to get in contact with the alleged victim, your boyfriend, John. So what I'm going to order, ma'am, is that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence, and I'm ordering that you have no unconsented contact with John. So that means if you're living together and you were to go home and he doesn't want you there, you need to go somewhere else. Do you understand?
Yes,
All right, ma'am. You're excused.
thank you. So Terry,
So can I get your full name, please?
It's Lázaro Ceperos Jr.
Mr. Sapero, you are here on charges of assault and disorderly conduct, both domestic violence offenses. I will enter pleas of not guilty, and you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Pretrial services is recommending against release. They were not able to get in contact with the alleged victim, Miss Leal, to find out what her position is. Are you two living together?
Yes, ma'am.
If she wants you to, do you have somewhere to go?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence, and what I'm going to order is that you have no unconsented contact with Ms. Lewis. So if you go home and she doesn't want you there, you need to leave. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you need to be in Tucson City Court on August 20th at 1:30 in the afternoon, or a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Thank you
Right.
so much.
You're welcome. You're excused.
Harrison?
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can I get your phone, please?
Dave Martin, Jesus Harrison.
Mr. Harrison, you are being seen this morning on charges of assault and disorderly conduct, both domestic violence offenses. You will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And I understand we have a on the line. Mr. Harrison, can you unmute and tell the record, please? Okay, Mr. Harrison, would you like to know?
I just wonder if you say I can have take one get some see if you can help. I want to try and see if you could help him to get some attention because I think he does have anger management.
You-
Anger management. He gets angry real quick. Yeah, but
Is that
no, he can come home. He can't come home because he has to go to work, and I want him to go to work. I don't want him to lose his job because, to be honest with you, Your Honor, I don't even know why you attacked me.
all right? You, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, so Mr. Harrison, I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. Order that you commit no further acts of domestic violence, and I am going to order that you get a behavioral health assessment. Okay, so you need to look maybe online for places that you can go to get one of those. So, option code. So just get that done. And then you've got a hearing that you need to be at in Tucson City Court on August 20th at 9 o'clock in the morning with Judge Surio. If you don't go to that hearing, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You're excused.
Thank you.
And the state, just right here.
Can I get your full name, please?
WJ Hunter.
Mr. Hunter, you are being seen this morning on a number of different matters. Looks like you've got somewhere around 7 matters in pending in Tucson City Court. And
Let her talk.
no, you go ahead.
Program called Compass Court. The misdemeanor charges, then just complete the program, then they drop the charges.
So-
That's why they're.
to be here.
So why would he be here if he's in?
These ones I know.
These ones are new. So the Compass Court cases are the 7
Yes.
unadjudicated cases.
I think one new and one more.
Okay.
And the other ones are in Compass Court. And like you said,
Okay.
for them those.
Okay. So let's get to the cases that you have in Compass Court currently. You also were arrested for a criminal damage charge in May 24th of this year, and then you didn't go to your arraignment on June 6th, and so a warrant issued. And then there's another case here for disorderly conduct. This is the new charge. Okay, so you were arrested for disorderly conduct and criminal damage. Those are new charges. On those, I will enter pleas of not guilty. Give me just a moment here. Is Compass Court with Judge Blue or?
So technically.
Okay.
Transfer to Compass Court. I think
Me.
it's under two.
Okay. To be released on your promise to appear on these charges, but you have to get to court, all right? So you're gonna be released. Cases are gonna be from mental health court. So this is gonna be separate from your Compass Court obligations, okay? You need to be July 25th in the morning,
Okay.
all right?
No.
All right, so you're excused.
Okay.
The next individual, Jose Chavez, has refused.
Great, thank you.
Your Honor, since it's a felony matter, cannot be continued to this evening's hearings.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, ma'am, can I get your full name?
Kayla Nicole Nelson.
Ms. Nelson, you're being seen this morning on charges of criminal damage and disorderly conduct. Both are domestic violence offenses. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Give me just one moment to look over your paperwork here. All right, ma'am, I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court, ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence. And you need to be in Tucson City Court on August 20th at 1:30 in the afternoon with Judge Million, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. And pretrial did speak with the alleged victim, your David Paz. He said that he does want to have further contact with you. So I'm not going to make any kind of no contact order at this time. All right. Okay.
You confuse that. You don't have to have contact with him, but he is okay with contact with you, which means the judge is considering that as part of her decision. What do I do if I don't want contact with him? You don't go around him. And if you need to get your things from a joint residence, you can contact law enforcement and ask for an escort so that you have an officer.
He's
with
not on the lease or nothing, so it's just me in the apartment.
you. Then you should be fine.
And come.
Let's see, right there, sir, in the judge's bed. She'll be with you in a moment.
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name, please?
Nicholas,
All right, Mr. Nicholas, you're being seen this morning on charges of domestic violence, assault, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Right, sir. Pretrial services is recommending release. And so I will order that you be released on your promise to appear on these charges. But they spoke with the alleged victim, Miss Stevens. She does not want to have further contact with you at this time. So I am going to order that you have no contact of any kind with Miss Stevens. Do you understand that?
Sure.
All right. I'm ordering no further acts of domestic violence and no firearms or weapons. And then you need to be in Pima County Justice Court on August 6th at 10:30 in the morning, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand? All right, sir, you're excused.
The last time it was dated, it's for a million.
Yeah.
Other cases,
Yeah.
Want to just do.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, sir. Can I get your full name, please?
Judge, I have this as a Spanish speaker. Do we have an interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. This is Aida Fernandez, ready for initial appearances.
Good morning. Ma'am. Do you need an interpreter?
No, that's fine.
You-
No,
You don't need one?
no, man.
Okay. And I think that was our,
Two listed.
oh, yep, there's one more. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Avalos, you are being seen this morning on charges of criminal damage, 3 counts of disorderly conduct. Those are all domestic violence offenses. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. On these charges, this pretrial services recommends release. And they spoke with the alleged victim, your girlfriend. She said that she does not object to your release and you are welcome to return home. So I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence. And you need to be in Tucson City Court on August 20th at 1:30 in the afternoon with Judge Millian, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you're excused. Can I get your phone, please?
One more?
Did you need a Spanish interpreter?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Then the Spanish interpreter can be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. All right, Miss Olmos, you are being seen this morning on a few different matters. The first are new charges of criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You're also charged with a new charge of disorderly conduct, domestic violence. Give me just a moment to take a look at your paperwork here. Oh, it looks like there's 3 different cases all from yesterday. So this third case is assault and disorderly conduct, domestic violence offenses. Looks like with a different alleged victim. And then in addition to those new cases, you've got warrants out of justice court and Nogales. On the city court matters, I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash bond. I will appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. If you were to bond out, I'm ordering that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you possess no firearms or weapons, and that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victims. And I will be in Tucson City Court on July 17th at 1:30 in the afternoon with Judge Millian. If you were to bond out, you'd still need to be in Tucson City Court on that date. And then on the Pima County Justice Court, this is for a shoplifting charge from March 16th of this year. We'll order a $100 cash bond. Do not go to that incident location. And if you are still at the jail, you'll be seen by video on July 9th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, if you were to bond out, you need to make that same court date. And then on the Nogales warrant, it's like it's for a theft of a vehicle. I will order a $250 cash bond, and you will be seen on July 23rd at 9 o'clock in the morning. All right, you understand all of that, ma'am? $600. Yeah. Make sure you post that you get to those court dates, because if you don't, warrants will issue and those funds will be in jeopardy. Okay. All right. You're excused.
850 total bond?
600.
I thought it was 6. I thought I did. Oh no, you're right. I did 500 on the city court, so it's 550. You're right. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
This is Miss Leah.
Yeah.
Do you have a free trial services right now on Mr. Cota?
I do not. Is pretrial give us the workup?
Yes, I'm here. Let me just set it back to review. I think it got knocked out.
Okay, thank you. So in the meantime, Mr. Cota, can you tell me your full name, please?
Hold on.
You are here on a charge of aggravated DUI. I will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated with you right now. And now we'll see if your pretrial services workup pops up. There it is. All right, we'll give everybody a second to look this over.
I need to look at it. Thank you, Jackie. Free trial, thank you.
Okay. All right, so pretrial services is recommending release. The state is asking for a $10,000 bond. Mr. Gant, after looking at the pretrial services workup, is that still your request?
Yeah, if you release him to pretrial services, I just didn't have information on his history at the time of
Okay.
file. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so sir, I'm going to order that you be released to the third-party supervision of pretrial services. So you need to check in with them when you're released.
Okay.
I'm ordering that you not drive without a valid driver's license and that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
I'm ordering monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, and preliminary hearing date is scheduled for July 17th at 1:30. But the hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You will get a hearing at a later date, so you need to make sure that you're in good contact with pretrial with your attorney so you know when to go to court. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, I have 2 questions. Which attorney office is appointed?
Public defender.
And secondly, preliminary hearing date you said was July 17th. Should it be the July 29th?
Thank you. July 29th. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else or just?
No, I'm not being paperwork, but that's just from court. Okay, thank you much. All right.
Can I get your full name, please?
D'Angelo?
Ms. D'Angelo, you're being seen this morning on a few different matters. The first is a new felony charge of armed robbery. I will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you right now. On this charge, pretrial services recommends against release, and the state is asking for a $25,000 bond. I'll hear from the state first.
Thank you, Judge. I'm asking for the $25,000 bond for a couple of reasons. First of all, the nature of the offense, where she went to the store and attempted, it sounds like, to tase a store clerk in an effort to steal from the store. She's on probation. She's got a probation warrant, I believe, out of Marana, 5 felony convictions. She had an active new violent criminal activity flag and a 6 out of 6 on both the failure to appear and the criminal activity scores. So for all those reasons, we're asking for a $25,000 bond.
Thank you. And defense?
We're asking you to please consider release of Ms. D'Angelo, and I certainly understand the state's statements. I've looked at the same information that they have, but I would ask you to please note that she has lifelong ties to the community, is not currently employed, so clearly $25,000 would be an onerous amount for her to be able to come up with in order to post that bond. And so we're hopeful that you will consider a lower amount or a release to pretrial services or some combination thereof, but $25,000 is excessive.
I will order.
Are you listening?
I will order a $10,000 bond. We'll make it cash or secured, release to pretrial if that bond is posted. No contact of any kind with the alleged victims. Do not return to the incident location. No alcohol or illegal drugs. No firearms or weapons. Monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for July 17th at 1:30. And then we've got some city court matters to deal with as well. So there are new charges of criminal trespass, criminal damage, and shoplifting. And then there's an older case from February of this year of drug paraphernalia and prescription drugs without a prescription. Do I need to do something? You said send quash sheet was not booked on warrant. Okay.
Just missed that mark.
Thank you. All right. So on the city court matters, I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash bond. And I'll appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. And you will be seen, if you are still in custody, on July 15th at 1:45. If you were to bond out, you'd need to be in Tucson City Court on August 14th at 9 o'clock in the morning. All right, ma'am, you're excused.
Some paperwork if you like it. Okay. Edwards.
Hi, ma'am, can I get your full name, please?
Jasmine Edwards.
Miss Edwards, you're being seen this morning on a charge of domestic violence, aggravated assault with a dangerous instrument. I will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And I just want to, Mr. Gannon, I'm having a hard time with probable cause on this one. It sure sounds to me like this was self-defense.
Well, I won't lie, Judge. I thought the same thing when I read it. I'll leave it to the court. It's probable cause, and I'm familiar with this as I've been fighting this on a particular case for the last couple of years. And the standard is if there is any inkling that there's a question about self-defense, then it should move forward. And you just based on a statement that, you know, there is obviously questions because we have very limited information. So I'm okay with her release. I would ask the court to consider that, you know, there's probably some question based on the limited information we have.
Okay. I am going to find that there's no probable cause, and I'm going to dismiss this charge without prejudice. So, ma'am, they could possibly still bring this charge back if more information, but for now, I'm ordering that it be dismissed and that you be released. Right, you're excused.
A detective wrote that.
It looks like there may be another arrest in that case. All right. Can I get your full name, please? Hey, Mr. Lawrence, you are being seen this morning on a few different matters. The first are new charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct with a weapon, aggravated domestic violence, aggravated harassment, and prohibited possessor. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you right now. On these charges, pretrial services recommends against relief, and the state $1,000 bond plus pretrial services. I'll hear from the state first.
Thank you, Judge. I'm asking for $100,000. I realize that is a very high amount, but I think that that request reflects the nature of my concern Mr. Lawrence poses to the victim. So aware of the facts in the interim. He brought a gun to the victim's house. He threatened to kill her multiple times. He threatened her by the throat. Particularly the use of the weapon and escalation to the point of a weapon is of concern to the state for the victim's safety. Furthermore, Mr. Lawrence has 5 prior felonies, which include weapons offenses, 4 prior convictions for domestic violence related offenses. We just believe he's a continual risk to the victim. He's got an active new violent criminal activity flag and a the new criminal activity scale. But my bond request really reflects the concern I have for the victim here, so we're asking for $1,000.
And it looks like there's also a Department of Corrections hold. I'll note that.
Judge, I asked the court to consider his history. I always worry about those holds because you never know when DOC is going to release their hold. So I just asked the court to give that little weight.
Okay, thank you. All right, defense.
Your Honor, we do know when DOC will release that hold. It's October 13th of this year. That's when his sentence, scheduled sentence should end. So there is a date certain as to that. But because of the current date being July and that it is a hold, $100,000 is not required in order to make sure that this individual appears in court because he isn't going anywhere due to that hold. And so we would ask the court to consider a substantially lower amount. I'm not discounting that there are allegations regarding weapons use or violence or even his history, indicating that I think the court can set a reasonable amount for bond that will take into consideration all of the factors, and we would ask that it be definitely less than $50,000 as opposed to the 100,000 the state is requesting. Thank you.
Thank you. I do think the high bond is appropriate. I'm looking at history here and I see he's been to prison 4 times for domestic violence offenses. And there's a 44C as well that shows that he's an elevated risk to this victim. So I'm going to order the $100,000 bond and make it cash or secured. No contact of any kind with the alleged victim. No firearms or weapons. No acts of domestic violence. No alcohol, illegal drugs. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for July 17th at 1:30. And then there is also a warrant out of Sahuarita that's for very old cases. There's 2 of them. One is from 2015, domestic violence assault, and one is from 2016, domestic violence threats and intimidation. On those charges, we have attorneys for Sahuarita, right? I think. Let's see. Yes, we do. All right. So I will appoint Craig Becker to represent you there. And I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash bond on those cases. And you will be seen by video on July 16th at 3:00 in the afternoon. All right, sir, you're excused.
You'd like to.
Hi, ma'am, can I get your full name, please?
Miranda.
Okay, Miss Miranda, you are being seen this morning on a charge of aggravated DUI. I will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you on this charge. Pretrial services recommends release, and the state is in agreement about that. So I will order that you be released to the third-party supervision of pretrial services. You need to check in with them when you get out. I'm ordering monitoring or treatment as directed by them. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not drive without a valid driver's license. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for July 29th at 1:30. But ma'am, that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You will get a hearing at a later date. So it's very important that you stay in contact with pretrial and with your attorney so you know when to go to court so a warrant doesn't issue for your arrest, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're excused.
Moreno.
What's that? Oh, I wonder if I put it in a different file because it's not here. It's not here. Sorry. Can I get your full name, please?
Moreno.
Okay. Ms. Moreno, you are being seen on a few different matters this morning. The first are new felony charges of theft, organized retail theft, 5 counts, possession of a dangerous drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you right now. Pretrial Services recommends against release. The state is asking for a $7,500 bond plus pretrial services release. I'll hear from the state on that.
Judge, I made that request without seeing a pretrial services report, and now that I've seen it, I think the request is even more appropriate. This is not, one-off shoplifting where she went in and stole a small amount of things. It's over $3,000 worth of items that were stolen from Target. I don't know any other way to protect the businesses in the community other than holding her in some form of a bond. She's got one, two, three, at least six open misdemeanor warrants. Four of those include theft. So I'm asking for a small bond to be imposed to protect the businesses in the community.
Thank you. Defense?
I guess the state and I disagree on what small amount means. So I would say that $1,000 or less is a small bond. And that's what we would ask for if you feel that a financial element is necessary. But ideally, we would ask for release to pretrial services, whether that's enhanced or standard. We would not object to either, but we would hope that you might consider her release. Despite the fact that there are some other matters that are outstanding, we would ask you to still keep the presumption of innocence in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to order a $5,000 bond. We'll make it cash or secured, release to pretrial if that bond is posted. Do not go to any Target stores. That is the court order. No alcohol or illegal drugs, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for July 17th at 1:30. And then let's talk about your city court cases. I believe there are 6 here. It looks like 4 from 2023 and 2 from 2022. And warrants issued on all of these because you don't go to court. So I'm going to order that you be held on those matters on a $1,000 cash or secured bond. And I'll appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. And if you're still in custody, you'll be seen by video on July 15th at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you were to bond out on everything, you would need to be in Tucson City Court on August 9th at 9:30 in the morning. Thank you, ma'am. You're excused. Can I get your full name, please?
Jacob Mariotti Sons.
Okay, sir, you're being seen this morning on charges of theft of means of transportation, felony flight from law enforcement, and 2 counts of criminal damage. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated next to you right now. Pretrial Services recommends against release, and the state is asking for a $10,000 bond, and I do see that he's being held without bond on the probation hold. All right, I'll hear from the state first.
To add on the judge, she's just got a probation hold.
Great, thank you. Anything from defense?
Judge, because of the probation hold, we would ask you to consider a substantially lower amount. And specifically, I would ask that it be $1,000. I would ask you to note his young age. And also, although he has a felony prior, he only has 1. And he does have residency in the community. So we are asking you to consider his to be $1,000.
I'll order a $5,000 bond, cash or secured, release to pretrial if that bond is posted. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for July 17th at 1:30. All right, sir, you're excused. Parker. Parker.
She's right.
Pictures.
That's the person we got there.
So can I get your full name, please? Mr. Parker, you're being seen this morning on a few different matters. The first are new felony charges of aggravated assault, temporary but substantial disfigurement, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated with you right now. On these charges, pretrial services recommends against release, and the state is asking for a $25,000 bond plus pretrial. I'll hear from the state on that.
Thank you, Judge. I'm looking to the 25,000 just based on the nature of the offense. Ms. Parker is alleged to have used a sword to cut the victim. Just know he has multiple prior failure to appear. I know there are miscommunications, but he seems to have attending court. So he's got an active new violent criminal activity flag and scored 5 on both of the scales. So I asked that the court impose some bond based on the nature of the case.
You, defense.
Certainly understand the concern of the allegations. However, I would ask you to please note that he has no felony history, and I'm not seeing the misdemeanor failure to appear or other failure to appear, so I don't have that information other than what Mr. Gant has provided. But we would ask that you consider release to pretrial services without a financial element.
I'm going to order a $15,000 bond, make it cash or secured, release to pretrial. If that bond is posted, no contact of any kind with the alleged victim, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Pretrial service or preliminary hearing is scheduled for July 17th at 1:30. And now we'll talk about the city court cases. So there are like 3 warrants out of Tucson City Court for failures to appear on various cases. I am going to order a $500 cash bond on those matters, appoint the city public defender's office, and video review hearing will be July 15th at 1:45 in the afternoon. All right, sir, you're excused.
Thank
Hi, ma'am, can I get your full name, please?
Ashley Scott.
Miss Scott, you are here on a few different matters this morning. The first is a new cheat has moved to dismiss that charge. So I will order that that charge be dismissed without prejudice. And then there is a warrant out of Cochise County, Benson Justice Court. I am going to order that you be released on that charge, but you're going to need to get in contact with Benson Justice Court to set up a court date so that you can take care of this so that warrants don't continue to issue for your arrest on that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And then you've got a city court case as well. This is from March of 2023. And you did not appear in court, so a warrant issued. And it looks like you were arrested on this matter again in March of this year and released, and then you didn't go to court in April. Why are you getting to court?
I had an emergency situation. I was hospitalized because I got attacked by 2 dogs. I still have marks all over my hands. They're really, I mean, they nailed me. And so I was hospitalized when I was supposed to be in court.
Well, if you have an emergency in the future and you're missing court, you can call them and let them know what's going on so that you can get it reset so you don't end up with a warrant. I will order that you be released. Your court date in Tucson City Court is August 7th. It's in 1 month, August 7th at 9:30 in the morning. You need to appear at that hearing, okay? You're excused. Hey, sir, can I get your full name, please? Mr. Wood, you're being seen on a couple different matters this morning. The first are new felony charges of possession of a dangerous drug, possession of a narcotic drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter pleas of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial Services recommends release, and the state is in agreement about that. So I will order that you be released to the third-party supervision of pretrial services. I'm ordering monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, no alcohol or illegal drugs. We'll set a smart court hearing for July 16th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll set the preliminary hearing date for July 29th at 1:30. And then there's city court cases. Where warrants issued for failures to appear. I will order that you be released on those charges, and you need to be in Tucson City Court on August 9th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you for your, and then you let you out. Do you understand? You okay, you're excused. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great Sunday.